Madam President, today is a proud but also painful one for me. Proud because I am honored and proud to join my distinguished colleague from New Hampshire, Senator Shaheen, and others on the floor. I was proud to join Connecticut organizations and advocates this morning in Hartford for a rally that involved Planned Parenthood of Southern New England, NARAL Pro-Choice Connecticut, the Women's March of Connecticut, AIDS Connecticut, the Center for Medicare Advocacy, proud and steadfast and strong activists who joined me to support a woman's right to determine her medical future, the right of privacy, the constitutional right to be left alone, as one of the Supreme Court justices once called it. And a proud moment for me also because it reminded me of my days as a law clerk for Justice Harry Blackmun, who was the author of Roe v. Wade and who taught me the constitutional principles that underlie a woman's right to determine her own health care decisions. Harry Blackmun was a Republican appointee. He was a Republican before he became a jurist, but there was nothing partisan for him, and there should be nothing partisan for us about this decision. I am tempted to call this 20-week abortion ban a Republican proposal. But when I think about the Republicans I know, and especially Justice Harry Blackmun, whom I revered, there's nothing Republican about this proposal. There's nothing partisan about a proposal that seeks to interfere in this fundamental right of privacy. It is an extremist right-wing proposal that happens to have been brought here by 45 of our Republican colleagues, all of them men, except one, who are essentially trying to tell the women of America what to do with their own bodies, when to have children or not. And that is fundamentally unconstitutional. It flies in the face of Roe v. Wade and all of its progeny. It is a restriction that has been struck down when adopted at the state level in at least 2 courts. And the others that have adopted similar proposals will be struck down, in my view, as well. The consensus of the medical community and the legal community and ordinary citizens, particularly women, is that women have reproductive rights that would be violated dramatically and directly by this proposal. It violates those rights for totally baseless reasons, policies founded on falsehoods. It is another excuse for right-wing dogma, an ideology out of touch with America, to seek to put opponents at a political disadvantage. It is transparently a political ploy. The American College of Obstetricians and Gynecologists, the doctors who are most qualified to present scientific evidence-based facts, disagree with the assertions and falsehoods that fetuses can feel pain at 20 weeks. In fact, the American College of Obstetricians and Gynecologists wrote and I'm quoting directly from medical experts on fetal health, sound health policy is best based on scientific fact and evidence-based medicine. The best health care is provided free of governmental interference in the patient-physician relationship. Personal decision-making by women and their doctors should not be replaced by political ideology. Worse than the fabrications behind this bill are the very real consequences that will come if it is passed. This nationwide abortion ban would provide virtually no adequate exception when a woman's health is at risk, and when there are fetal anomalies, and when there are dangers to the health and well-being of a mother who is sick. If her life is threatened, this bill fails to guarantee that she has access to the health care that she needs. If there is a fetal anomaly and a woman learns that her child will be born with significant impairments, or worse yet, a short life filled with pain, it would force her to carry that child to term. And if a woman is advised that her child will not survive pregnancy at all, the most personal medical decisions of her life would be usurped by a cruel, heartless, unconscionable, unconstitutional law. She would be deprived of the right to make those decisions with her family, her clergy, her doctors. The American public disagrees strongly with this potential law, as does the medical community, and individual doctors who have real-life experiences disagree strongly with it as well. One doctor who practices in Connecticut told me about patients that are treated in that office who choose to get an abortion after 20 weeks. It is oftentimes, and I quote him, quote, an agonizing decision, an unexpected one, and too often a lonely one, a decision that's deeply personal and altering, end quote. For many women, he told me, medical tests showing a devastating issue with a future child, and I quote him, a joyous event becomes a tragic one as they learn of a lethal condition or a syndrome that will lead to a brief life of suffering, end quote. I could quote other doctors. I could quote women who have been through this experience, but without exaggerating, it is one of the most deeply difficult and personal decisions that women have a right to make without interference of politicians, insurance bureaucrats, or anyone else in positions of authority. It's their decision. Congress must keep its hands off women's health care. To my colleagues, keep your hands off women's health care. It is their lives and their well-being and their personal privacy that is at stake. I'm going to continue to fight this ban, painfully, because its consequences would be so cruel, but also because it's certainly not the Republican Party that I know who would advocate it. And it certainly should not be partisan in any way. And it certainly should not even be before us in this great chamber that has such respect and such a profound role in our Constitution. To consider violating the Constitution so dramatically in tragedy is a disservice to this great body.